It's the Sports Bash with Mike Gill.
Do I have everybody's attention now?
On 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app.
I'm going to tell my grandkids about Nick Sirianni one day. Seriously, I'm going to be sitting at the table and I'll be like, you should have seen him. He was like, if they grabbed somebody out of the stands, 6 Miller Lights deep, it was like, go coach your heart out, dude. And I'm talking about the good with the bad.
That was Chris Long on the Green Light Podcast. He said Nick Sirianni is like a guy coaching 6 Miller Lights deep. It's not bad. This guy can relate. He's got a new podcast out. Former Carolina Panthers tight end, not for long media. Colin Thompson joins us now on the Sports Bash Live on 97.3 ESPN. I don't know about the 6 Miller Light. You're not coaching 6 Miller Lights deep, but you kind of get the gist of what he's saying. He's saying this guy is going out there just flying by the seat of his pants. Or is he, Colin Thompson? If you were in that Eagles sideline, or if you were on that Eagles sideline Sunday, do you understand what they're doing? Or are you saying, "What, Coach, what's going on here?"
I think you can justify a little bit of everything in football, right? Because at the end of the day, it's a little analytics, a little bit of opinion. Someone's probably done it before. So you say, well, I believe in our guys. You know, I think, listen, where coaches have to get in the way of players here is like, how do I say this nicely? You have to be able to separate what the act of toughness is, meaning like we're going to go for it. I believe in our guys, and like being rational and understanding the circumstances of what could happen in this game. Because Mike, it's the third quarter. It's 16-0. The game's unwinding. And all of a sudden, a minute later, whatever, it's 22-0, right? And a minute later, it's 22-16. And you're like, holy cow. Right? Like they're right back in this. What happened? So, yeah, I think for me, Mike, which we've talked about before on this radio network, 97.3 ESPN, is what does it look like week to week? The Eagles week to week have looked fantastic in the last 3 to 4 weeks here of building and building and building and building. But they reverted back to the similar mistakes they made before, even from a head coach's perspective, making those mistakes, being over-aggressive. So, that's what's concerning to me, Mike. If you're going to be like that all the time. But if you're not going to,
well, isn't that who they are all the time? That's who they are. They're aggressive. We're going to go for it. They did it in the Atlanta game. It cost them. They did it in the game against Cleveland. But they converted, and it helped them win the game. So, you know, they're saying, look, that's who we are. But I guess the question becomes, like, the team buys into that. That's who we are. If we're going to be the best version of ourselves, we can't be a team that kicks that field goal. We got to go for it. Is that the mentality of the team?
I mean, there's just so much to unpack here, right? Like, it's not just is what it is. It's like,
well, there's people, for instance, there's a lot of former players like yourself here that say, this guy's getting in the way of them winning games. And, like, he almost lost in that game. And then you have other people, Darius Slay's coming out today, and he's saying, that's what we want. We want him to trust us. We like this.
Yeah.
You know, you've got a lot of people on that side of the coin that are saying, no, put it on the players. So obviously there's not going to be 100% here. But when you're looking at it from this angle, from where you're sitting, you're saying, man, this team, they might cost themselves because of these decisions, or they're going to beat somebody because of these decisions.
The Philadelphia Eagles, with their point-blank period, are the only team that can beat themselves in the NFL. That's it. They have so much talent, and you're seeing the impact of Kellen Moore and the offensive creativity and the fullback and the under center, just like simple plays. Like, the Eagles are the only ones that are going to beat themselves, and that's crystal clear. Like, I'm talking Chiefs, I'm talking Lions. When other things start getting in the mix is when they start losing. It's like, we need to operate 6.5 out of 10 at all times instead of 99 out of 100 at all times, and they'll win. Like, when things are calm and under control, they dominate. But when it gets a little hectic, haywire, they don't. I'll say this, Mike, their defense is really good. We've talked about that too. It's gotten better and better and better and better. So, like, you are who you are. Todd Bowles last night, everyone's, you got to go for 2. Todd Bowles has never been that guy. He believes in his defense. They're special teams. I played against them in the AFC South when I was with the Panthers. They kicked every ball at the back of the end zone. They never had a kick return the entire year other than an onside kick, right? They're conservative. He is conservative as a coach. So I just trust me. I like the aggressiveness, Mike, but sometimes as a coach, you got to take a step back, remove emotion, and say this is the best thing.
So you're watching the Eagles game on Sunday. Are there moments in that game where you're yelling at the TV asking, what the hell are you doing?
The coaching stuff, I don't know what goes on the headsets. I know that doesn't answer your question, but you don't know what their philosophy
Well, okay.
You know their philosophy.
Okay, so let me ask you this.
If the push-pushes all work, Mike, no one's talking about it.
Well, that's what it's the result of the play. If they like the going for two, they did it 3 times. Is that an organizational philosophy? Is that an NFL thing? Is that an analytical thing that says, hey,
it's an analytical thing.
If the ball is on the 1 yard line, take the points off the board, take the extra point off the board, and go for 2.
It's analytical, and I think at this point, like with the tush push, like it's not dead. Guy in the gym down here I'm talking to in Maryland's a big Eagles fan. Throw that thing out. It's not thrown out. Jags played great against it, but it's not thrown out. Oh, it's different with Jason Kelsey. Listen, folks, if you actually watch the tush push, he goes left every single time. Why? Because Landon Dickerson's on that side, and Mailata, when he's healthy, is on that side. The 2 biggest probably guards tackle combination in the NFL. Could be ever. Those 2 are both monstrous. So that's why it had a lot of success. Yeah, of course, Jason's an all-timer, but I don't know, Mike. There's so many other things to me.
Well, we were talking about this a little yesterday. Entering the game yesterday, they were converting 82% of the tush push. If you have a play you're converting 80+% of the time, you're going to run that play. I would say the 4th down and inches that they try to get too cute. If they just run the tush push there, they probably get it. I don't know why they tried to throw a little rollout pass in that moment.
But, Mike, you know what my problem is, though? It was in the third quarter, late in the third, middle of the third.
Yeah.
My problem is Saquon, right? Like, the guy is unbelievable, right? What he did.
Plus no A.J. Brown. Plus no A.J. Brown on the field.
I'm not worried about that. It had nothing to do with that. This is my problem with football and how we're taking in information. Saquon Barkley has the first down. He ran out of bounds. He ran out of bounds because he's tired. Saquon, cut it back, fall forward, get out of the game. Instead of he ran out of bounds, it was 2nd and short. It's like it's so simple. Football is so simple. If it's a game of who's going to beat themselves the least. Why New England won all those Super Bowls? They beat themselves the least. Kansas City, they can come back and firepower with everybody. But those New England teams and those teams, like look at Detroit. Matt's, what's his name? The quarterback, Jared Goff. Like they never beat themselves ever. Yeah. Ever.
Well, and then
so the Eagles beat themselves, whether it's a coach or this is a time we can put them away. And our star running back, who is on another planet, gifted, runs out of bounds, and it gets a 2nd and 1 instead of getting a first down.
The 4th down and 3 on the 22. It's like a 40-yard field goal. The analytics say go. The Eagles went. They did go for it. They did not get it. They have a chance to put points on the board there, 40-yard field goal. Do the players like the analytics saying go there?
Every player is going to love to go for it. Every guy. There's not one guy. But guess what? It's not what the players think.
Yeah. Oh, I agree. Yeah, it shouldn't be, hey, coach, we want to go. But I guess the question is, Sirianni gets blasted, and then a guy like Orlovsky says, hey, if they lose that game, he's not getting out of the locker room. He's getting fired. I would almost argue that if he doesn't go for it, he's more inclined to be in trouble because that's what Laurie and Roseman, that's the organization's philosophy, and that's why Sirianni has that job because, yeah, I want to go for it there. And they say, if you want to go for it, you're the kind of guy we want to hire.
That's deep thinking, Mike. That's an interesting thought. I never thought of that. I just think to me, hey, guys, you know what? I'm not going to be the guy to get in your way. If it's a good time for us to go for it and it's amicable, I have a gut feeling, the analytics tell me to go for it, we're going to go for it. But if not, I'm going to play it safe because our defense is damn good. Damn good.
What do you like about the defense that 2 weeks into the season we had questions about?
Zach Bond. This guy, if they don't sign him now to a nice 2-year extension, whatever that is, try to get him on a cheaper deal, that guy's lighting it up. I'm not just talking about the picks. Watch him. You want something to watch in games? Watch him. This is a guy who played Sam outside backer, stand up. I blocked him in Carolina when he was in New Orleans. Solid, Wisconsin, typical play hard guy. He is flying around. When's the last time the Eagles have had a sideline-to-sideline guy? I thought that was going to be Devin White. I was dead wrong on that. So to me, he's a difference maker. And then by committee, right? Their younger guys are playing better. So to me, it's Zach Bond. And then honestly, let's be real, Mike, that back end is one of the best back ends in football. I mean, Cooper DeJean, Mitchell, Slay, they have depth. Reed Blankenship. Like you're not saying, oh, we're going to pick on this guy today. I mean, you're going to get beaten this league at DB, folks. It's the NFL now. It is a pass-friendly league. But I just like Vic Fangio's scheme. It's good up front, and on the back end, they have the corners and the DBs to get it done.
Well, they have about an hour and 20 minutes to make a deal. Like, do they have to get more pass rushing? You're looking at this pass rush. Bryce Huff's done nothing. Obviously, that looks to be a lost cause at this point. Do they have enough pass rush, or should they have done what the Lions did? Hey, Cleveland, what are you asking for here? Should they be doing something to get more pass rush?
Well, how about this, Mike? I don't know about the pass rush thing. I was going over with somebody today, my producer, Jack Connell, at our media company, and he's like, what are they gonna get? I'm like, that's a great point. Pass rush. Everybody wants that. Go get that pass rusher. Who's available? My whole thing is this.
Chase Young help them or no?
No. I don't think so.
Yeah, like
not in that all. Not he's like a hand in the dirt DN, an edge, like a stand-up outside backer type guy.
Clowney, that type of guy who's like,
Can you afford him? I mean, I think you could. It just depends what you're going to do. Like, what's the price? What are you leveraging? Are we Super Bowl mode? Yeah, you are. You got to win. That's a good point, Mike. I think you could get one of those edge rushers if you can afford it. I think it's a fun conversation. My question, though, is the third wideout spot with Dotson. Like, I know he's on his rookie deal year still. Would they give up a third-round pick for him?
Yeah.
A lot of receivers that are pretty good that went for third-round picks. Like again, like that was early in the year. They wanted to fill the role right away, but like if you wait a little bit.
You remember when they made that trade, it felt like a home run. You were getting a first-round guy, a third-round pick. This guy's going to fit in the slot, and it just, there's just not enough balls.
Yeah, I mean, just think about the guys that went for mid-round picks right now. Amari Cooper, DeAndre Hopkins, the kid, Deontay Johnson, right? Like they have really good football players. So, again, I love the aggressiveness. It's like, what are we doing? What's the fit? How do they fit for us? I think it's fantasy football to be like, we're going to trade for guys, but, I can't say
How long
enough.
does it take you to learn an offense?
Oh, look what's happened in Detroit, Mike. There's your answer. Jared Goff is known as a pedestrian quarterback in the NFL.
Well,
Super Bowl,
let's say Colin Thompson, you just got traded. You got to go to a new team and open the playbook. Like, how long is it till you feel like, okay, I got these plays down?
3 years, full offense. That's my point. Look at Detroit. 3 years that group's been together. 3 years, the same offense, defensive coordinator, quarterback. That's why they're humming like that. Now they're
so
talented.
Like what happens? Okay, you're
But to answer your question, Mike, how long does it really take?
Well, I get what you're saying. You're saying to master the offense. I'm talking about, Adams gets traded to the Jets and he has to play in a game. I mean, obviously he has to know what the hell he's doing.
He's fortunate. He played in that offense in Green Bay under Hackett. So it's a lot of the similar terminology. There's like 4 offenses in the NFL. Some are numbers-based. Some are verbiage-based. Some are a little bit of both. But at the end of the day, there's some mix. It just depends where you're at, Mike. But the thing you have to get caught up with is the motions, the shifts, how they handle cadence, breaking the huddle. Where do I even align in the huddle? Like it's a whole the cadence of the quarterback, the rhythm. You're trying to stay on side.
Right,
like
so
for me,
you're in Carolina and whatever. Like when you were in training camp with Minnesota, different offense, different verbiage,
completely different verbiage. Oh yeah.
So that's something that. You can't be the fastest version of yourself because you're constantly thinking about what am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to do this or this?
Yeah, and you can't play as fast where for a guy like me, Mike, I can't afford to play slow. I'm not fast enough. Right. So that's my best strength is I know what I'm doing. So at the end of the day, like a great point. Let me give you an example. You get traded. Hey, listen, Colin, for a guy like me, who was like a blocking tight end, gadget kind of guy, fullback, H-back, they would say, listen, I need you to know all the red zone, right? All the red zone plays. I need you to know a touch over of the 2-minute drill. So if 2 tight ends go down and we have no tight end available, you know a little bit of it. They would put probably a receiver in over me or for the 2-minute drill anyways, who's been in there. And then from a real nut and bolts perspective, Colin, all the short yardage you need to know. 3rd and 3, 2nd and 3, all the goal line, everything. Like you would have a package, if you will. And then they would change the personnel, Mike. So some teams would be, they go their personnels by numbers. So 21, 2 running backs, a tight end, 12, which is a running back and 2 tight ends. So they'll go 12 Cape May, and that could be my thing. And they'll just signal, like they're sitting at a beach, and that means I'm going in, right? It could be anything. It could be 12 Colin, right? Or the other way could be like if they do personnels, it could be Detroit, which is 2 tight ends. They'll be Detroit 86, which would be my number. So then you have those package and your plays. So for a receiver, these guys are getting traded right now. You're okay, we want to get him involved in the play. Here's his 4 plays. So that's why you're seeing these guys get,
Now, I know you're not a defensive player, but what about a pass rusher? Just go out in the field?
Go out in the field, pin your ears back. Here's a couple calls, right?
Gotcha. All right.
Hey, listen, if they're doing this, we're going to say X or Y. But the easiest one's probably offensive line and defensive line for sure.
Colin Thompson, of course, Carolina Panthers, the new show. Tell us about Food, Drinks, Football.
Yeah, thanks, Mike. Food, Drinks, Football. Our first episode was at Kelly's, a great bar up in Asbury Park, Neptune City up there. Great little spot. We'll have 8 episodes coming out, a bunch in Key West, Houston, Texas. We're going to be hitting some in Cape May County here soon. First episode. So fooddrinksfootball.com or Food Drinks Football, our sponsors, the Original Fudge Kitchen. You guys know that down there. They'll ship fudge across the country too. So that's been great, Mike. We're excited for it. It's a fun new show we got going on here at Not For Long Media.
All right. Well, Colin Thompson, of course, right here on the Sports Bash as the Eagles head to Dallas to play the Cowboys, and we'll have that game for you right here on 97.3 ESPN. Colin will be back on Tuesday next week. We'll recap that, and the Eagles will be getting ready for the Commanders. All right, man. We'll talk to you.
Thanks, Mike. Appreciate it.